Long, long ago, deep in the forest of the Dolakha region, Yapa and Sunari Ama, the primordial father and mother of the Thami people, lived peacefully. They lived secluded lives and never mingled with the population outside the forest. Nestled among the trees, Yapa and Sunari Ama's humble dwelling stands in peaceful solitude, the first parents of the Thami people, living in harmony with the ancient woods. Though all alone in the forest and knowing nothing of people in the villages and towns, they were always happy. One day, a fisherman appeared at the court of the king of Dolakha. He was the official fisherman of the king himself and would bring fresh fish to court every day. The king sat back on his throne, his posture stiff and unyielding, the faint crease in his brow showing his growing annoyance. The fisherman's voice cracks with desperation as he pleads, "My lord, something in the forest is destroying my nets." He displayed his fishing net that had been destroyed by small pieces of bamboo and wood chippings. The king's patience wears thin, his command echoing through the court, "Guards, investigate. This is my third net that has been destroyed this month," he said. "Someone must be living in the forest and is mischievously throwing away these wood and bamboo pieces in the river." The fisherman held up his torn net, the strands hanging loose in his hands, clear proof that something hidden in the forest was troubling the kingdom. Hearing the fisherman's pleas, the king ordered his guards to search the forest. The guards followed the river upstream, their armor flashing in the sunlight as they moved through the forest with quiet determination. They searched for a few days but found nobody. "Follow the river source and search there," the king ordered. When they followed the river to its source, they found the hut where Yapa was living. Under the bright sun, Yapa's small hut sits peacefully beside the flowing river. Two guards, draped in the king's colors, cautiously approach the humble dwelling. One guard spots Yapa near the riverbank, his hands clutching a freshly caught pheasant. The guard's stern voice breaks the silence. "You must come with us to the king." Yapa's eyes widen with fear, his grip tightening on the pheasant as dread washes over him. He was shackled and brought before the king. Fearing for his life, Yapa brought a wild pheasant he had just killed as an offering to pacify the king. He extends the bird with trembling hands, hoping to soften the king's stern gaze. But the king wasn't interested in this lowly gift. Yapa bowed low before the king, his whole posture showing his desperate plea for mercy. The king stayed silent, the pause heavy in the room, as Yapa's fate hung in the balance. Resolved to punish Yapa, who was living in the forest without royal consent, the king wanted to impose a severe punishment. "You will return to your hut for now," the king said, "but in a week you shall come to the court to hear my judgment." On the day of the judgment, Yapa returned with a deer that he had hunted for the king. The enraged king bellowed, "With this gift, you have bought yourself a few days. Go for now and return in a week to hear my judgment." The third time, Yapa came with a mountain goat, but that too wasn't enough to appease the king. Yapa was sent back, and the king proclaimed that he would be executed the next day. The king's face is a mask of cold fury, his eyes devoid of mercy as he stares down at Yapa. The king's voice booms through the court, sealing Yapa's fate. "Tomorrow, you shall be executed." Yapa went home and confided about the king's order to his wife, Sunari Ama. Even in his cozy home, he couldn't find solace. Sunari Ama listened closely, her face caught between sorrow and determination. She held Yapa close, letting her touch speak the promise she couldn't put into words. She consoled her husband and told him that she would accompany him to the king's court the next day. A sly gleam appeared in her eyes. "I have something the king wants more than gold," she said. In the grand king's court, Sunari Ama stands, her voice resonating with fearless determination. Her plea cuts through the silent hall. "Please release my husband. I shall give you something no one in your kingdom possesses." The king regards her with a piercing gaze, intrigued by her bold claim. "What can you offer a king who already possesses everything?" the king roared. The court responded with loud jeers at the words of Sunari Ama. The king laughed. At that moment, Sunari Ama plucked a strand from the long tangled braids of her hair and threw it on the floor. With a subtle, almost magical gesture, the strand begins to morph, twisting and gleaming in the sunlight. Before the astonished eyes of the court, the hair transforms into a radiant golden deer. A gasp ran through the court, the faces of those present filled with awe and disbelief. The golden deer glows with an ethereal light, casting a divine radiance upon the stunned onlookers. In the Grand King's court, the king sits upon his throne, a subtle shift in his demeanor hinting at newfound gratitude and wariness. Witnessing this miracle, the king was pleased but also frightened, and he bowed before Sunari Ama and said, "Your husband is free to go, my lady. Tell me what more you want, and I shall try to fulfill your wishes." "Give us land the size of a buffalo skin to settle on," said Sunari Ama. The king nodded slowly, curious about the modesty of her request, his eyes narrowing thoughtfully. The king urged them to accept more, but they refused, demanding only that a buffalo skin be brought to show the king exactly how much land they wished. In a clearing bathed in sunlight, a buffalo skin lay spread on the ground, its rough texture contrasting with the soft earth beneath. Yapa got to work, the knife catching the sunlight as he cut into the buffalo skin. His hands worked with practiced skill, slicing the hide into thin, even strips. He measured and cut each strip carefully, concentration written across his weathered face. In the heart of the forest, Yapa begins to lay out thin strips of buffalo skin, marking territory with cunning precision. The strips unfolded, covering a large portion of the kingdom's land, clearly marking the area they claimed. The king watches with keen interest, impressed by Yaapa's cleverness and strategic mind. A map-like arrangement takes shape, the buffalo skin forming a large, symbolic boundary. The king, thoroughly impressed by the Thami couple, granted their request. Sunlight poured through the high windows of the king's grand court, bathing the room in a warm glow. A benevolent smile graces the king's lips as he acknowledges their wisdom. "You are wise indeed," the king proclaims, his voice echoing through the hall. With a gracious gesture, the king extends his welcome. "You may settle here around the Sunkoshi River." Yapa and Sunari Ama return to their family. Their 7 sons and 7 daughters settled in different parts of this land. To this day, the Thami people, descendants of Yapa and Sunari Ama, live in these lands. The river flows peacefully, reflecting the tranquility and prosperity of the Thami family's domain. Generations of Thami have settled here, their roots deeply entwined with the land. The Thami family has thrived, their spirit echoing through the trees and the gentle waters. Sunlight paints the forest floor in shifting patterns of light and shadow, illuminating an untouched world. A golden deer, serene and majestic, graces the tranquil scene, its coat shimmering like spun gold. The forest holds its breath, the sounds of nature weaving a symphony of life and peace. The narrator's voice echoes through the trees, a tale of bravery and destiny unfolding. And so, through courage, wisdom, and a touch of magic, Yapa and Sunari Ama shaped the destiny of their people, their legacy woven into the very fabric of the forest.